Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are looking at a framework that is genuinely revolutionizing the way finance teams operate. We're exploring the anatomy of a fully autonomous AI finance agent. And look, the goal here isn't just to play around with artificial intelligence for the fun of it. No, it's to rescue teams from the absolute nightmare of formatting endless spreadsheets at 2 a.m. We want to shift away from that mind-numbing, repetitive operational reporting and move towards actual high-level strategic decision-making. Okay, let's dive into this. I really want you to imagine a scenario for a second. What if your financial reporting just ran itself? Imagine waking up, grabbing your coffee, and finding that your reporting folders have been continuously monitored overnight. New monthly P&Ls have been identified, the data extracted, variances analyzed, and a fully polished CFO-ready executive report is already sitting right there in your inbox. There's no manual data entry, no frantic late-night formatting, just pure, actionable analysis ready for you to review while you were literally asleep. Now, to understand how we actually get there, we need to look at what this system fundamentally isn't. It is not a standard temporary chatbot. Standard chatbots are kind of like amnesiacs. They completely reset their context after every single conversation. If you analyze April's numbers with a standard bot, it completely forgets you even exist by May. What the source material outlines here is a stateful autonomous agent. This acts like a continuous background monitor. It remembers previous reporting periods, it flags operational changes over time, and it basically operates like an always-on finance colleague. So, here is our blueprint for today's explainer. We'll cover 1. The autonomous finance agent, 2. Connecting the tools, 3. Building in layers, 4. Establishing the AI rules, 5. Turning it autonomous, and finally, 6. Deploying for the future. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the autonomous finance agent. The whole purpose of this framework, as we mentioned, is to liberate finance professionals from operational grunt work so they can actually focus on high-level strategy. And the absolute secret sauce that makes this liberation possible? It's statefulness. Statefulness is simply the ability of a system to maintain context, memory, and tracking across multiple reporting periods over time. Without this, an AI is really just a glorified calculator. But with statefulness, the agent can actually track margin deterioration, spot churning consistencies, and understand profitability shifts automatically across your entire fiscal year. It literally remembers the past to intelligently analyze the present. Moving right along to Section 2, connecting the tools. Before an AI can even look at a spreadsheet, it needs senses, right? It needs to see and interact with the world. We do this by establishing secure endpoints called MCP connections, which basically allow the agent to reach external systems. And this brilliantly illustrates a very specific routing logic for redundancy. For file access, Google Drive is the primary tool, but Zapier acts as a safety net fallback. Now, for sending emails, Zapier is actually the primary integration. Why? Because the direct Gmail MCP doesn't inherently have send access right out of the box, so Zapier's Gmail connection provides that specific capability. Direct Gmail then acts as the fallback. Getting this logic dialed in ensures that even if an API totally misbehaves, the agent just seamlessly routes around the problem and keeps running smoothly. Okay, Section 3, building in layers. When you're constructing a highly technical AI system like this, you can't just throw one massive, sprawling instruction manual at it. If you do and it breaks, you'll have absolutely zero idea what caused the failure. It's a debugging nightmare. So the architecture is built sequentially using prompt layers to keep the whole system super debuggable. The build is executed in 3 exact phases. Step 1 is setting up infrastructure readiness. That's connecting those tools we just talked about. Step 2 is adding the core operation layer, which essentially serves as the financial brain. And step 3 is making the agent autonomous. This step-by-step approach systematically transforms a totally blank slate AI into a highly capable FP&A analyst. Now, a completely critical part of that first infrastructure layer is creating 2 local tracking files, a JSON state file and an error log. These 2 files are what keep the workflow highly reliable in messy, unpredictable real-world conditions. That processed files JSON literally tells the agent which monthly reports it has already handled. Without it, the agent would get hopelessly stuck in an infinite loop, just endlessly analyzing the same old April data over and over again. Meanwhile, the error log ensures that if a file arrives in some weird, unexpected format, the agent just logs the issue and moves on, rather than completely crashing the whole pipeline. Which brings us to Section 4, establishing the AI rules. This is the core operation layer, and honestly, it's arguably the most critical part. We are literally installing financial reasoning into the agent's brain here. We aren't just asking for some quick, superficial summary of a spreadsheet. So the crucial point is, the prompt forces the AI to actively analyze complex SaaS metrics to find the real story. It has to balance top-line numbers like revenue and gross margin against the harsh operational realities, things like operating expenses, EBITDA, cash position, and CAC efficiency. Because let's face it, top-line revenue alone doesn't mean a whole lot if churn is quietly destroying the business just beneath the surface, right? But amidst all of those incredibly complex calculations, there is one rule in the prompt that does way more heavy lifting than any other. The agent must never fabricate missing data. If a number is unclear, if it's incomplete, or just completely inconsistent, the agent is strictly instructed to flag the ambiguity. It cannot just fill in a plausible guess. Because a finance system that confidently invents numbers is far, far more dangerous than having no system at all. Adhering to this golden rule is exactly what builds ultimate trust with your finance leadership. Furthermore, the framework establishes a very strict standard for exactly how the AI communicates its findings. Every single email it sends must follow this exact structure: a fixed format subject line, a strict 5-sentence cap on the executive summary, followed by key financial changes, KPI analysis, risks ranked by severity, recommended actions, and a high-level, board-style overall assessment. This ensures a consistent, reliable, CFO-level professional output every single reporting cycle. By shifting away from some wildly creative AI to a highly predictable, professional system, it absolutely forces the agent to be consistently excellent. Section 5. Turning it autonomous. So, up until this point, the agent is highly capable, but it still needs a human to physically point it at a file. Now we take the training wheels off completely by implementing a monitoring loop. This loop constantly scans your reporting folder and processes only new data automatically. It runs on a continuous 30-second polling cycle. So it checks the folder, compares what's in there to its JSON tracking file, and if nothing is new, it just waits 30 seconds and checks again. But the very second a new P&L lands in that folder, it retrieves it, runs the entire analysis, generates that CFO-ready report we talked about, and emails it out, all without a single human trigger. It's entirely hands-off. Finally, Section 6. Deploying for the future. This is the real payoff. When an active session is spun up, we can actually watch the real-time execution trace populate as the agent analyzes sequential business data entirely on its own over an entire reporting year. Let's move to Vanju and see how this builds. In April, the agent detects a new file, runs its initial analysis, identifies the company as near break-even, and critically, it flags an inconsistency in the churn metric. Then, May data lands. Because the agent is stateful, it produces real month-over-month variance. It notes that while revenue is up, CAC efficiency actually dropped, causing margin compression. It also intelligently carries forward that exact same concern about April's churn. As the June through September files drop, the agent starts producing deep 6-month trend commentary, even downgrading risks it flagged earlier that have since been resolved. It refines its narrative exactly like a seasoned human analyst would. And what's truly brilliant about this entire architecture is just how modular and scalable it is. Because the core logic lives in a totally clean execution container, the tools can be easily swapped out to fit basically any enterprise. Google Drive, you can swap that for a Snowflake database or a full ERP. Gmail can easily be swapped for Slack or Microsoft Teams. And obviously, in a real corporate environment, you'd adjust that 30-second polling interval to check maybe every day or week, matching exactly when reports actually land. The analytical brain stays exactly the same, you're just changing the systems it sits on top of. All of this leaves us with one incredibly important question to consider today. If your operational reporting was fully autonomous, if the repetitive, manual data crunching literally just took care of itself, how would you spend your time? Because it all comes back to replacing the tools, not the people. We are freeing up massive amounts of human intelligence for the complex, strategic thinking that actually moves the needle forward. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this framework helps you completely rethink what's possible in your own daily workflows. Keep building, keep exploring, and I'll see you next time.